And welcome everyone to our webinar about WorkCanvas. We're very excited to be here today and present the latest add-on for Monday.com. My name is Neta and I will be your host for today. Few practical notes before we start. Our webinar is a listen-only webinar, meaning you're muted and you cannot unmute yourself. If you have any comments, feel free to use the chat for it. And if you have any questions, please include them in the Q&A. We will get back to them towards the end of the webinar and answer all your questions. And we will share the recording after the webinar, so don't worry about taking notes. So let me present quickly the agenda for today. We will start with introductions, so you know who we are. Then we will discuss about the feature itself, the WorkCanvas, what it's about. We will go through the key features and the benefits. We will show a live demo with real life examples so you can really see how it can be used across different teams. And we will wrap up with a Q&A and discussion. I believe most of you are Monday users. If not, you'll get a glimpse on how it looks like and most importantly, how it's connected between Monday.com and WorkCanvas. But if you want to get a proper demo, please reach out to us and we would love to plan it with you. So let me introduce the speakers that are joining me today. Let me start. As mentioned, my name is Neta. I'm a customer success manager at Thrive, managing several of our key clients. I'm passionate about building long-term relationships and strategies with my clients, making sure they get the best out of the tool and make them an expert. With me today, Philip and Martin, together with me at Thrive. We are sharing the same team. Tal from Monday.com. And we have a special honor to have Guy Shachar, WorkCanvas co-founder, will be joining us towards the end of the webinar. He will answer your questions and also share some product insights. So stay tuned. Philip, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Neta. Hi, everyone. I'm Philip, working for 4 years as a consultant right now. And I love helping companies and teams translate their workflows and business processes to Monday.com and WorkCanvas.
All right, and I think I'm next. So hi, everyone. Just like Philip, I've implemented Monday.com at several customers, as well as done some integrations with third-party tools between Monday.com and the third-party tool itself.
Thank you. Tal?
Yes, hi everyone, I'm Tal. I'm a solution engineer at Monday.com. Been working here for more than 2.5 years, and I'm very happy to be here today.
Great. Thank you for being here with us, and thank you all for joining this special webinar. We will come back to you soon. Meanwhile, who is Thrive and why we are hosting this webinar? Thrive was founded in 2020 with the mission of making workspaces future-proof with a focus on digital transformation. And we believe Monday.com is one of the best tools to achieve this goal. So we are an official Monday.com partner. We help organizations implement Monday.com. We also create workflows, build custom integrations, onboard teams, and provide trainings. Monday doesn't provide those services. That's why they hire experts like us. We have over 500 happy customers, as you can see in the slide. We're spread over several locations, and we provide services in multiple languages, English, Dutch, and French. So why using an online whiteboard? Before answering that, I'm going to post a poll, as I'm curious to know what is your most common use case for online whiteboard. And also, I would like to share with you some interesting insights that I found while preparing the webinar. So let me just quickly share the poll. Yes, you should see it now, right now. Since COVID, we all changed the way we work. Most of you are probably familiar with this whiteboard that we have in our meeting rooms, right? Which we could plan and brainstorm and visualize our idea. However, with an estimated 60% of the workforce working remotely, at least part-time, the traditional office model changed and is not relevant anymore. Researchers even show an increase in 25% in productivity within companies to embrace remote work. With those positive numbers, companies still struggling with keeping their team connected, engaged, and productive. A great solution to overcome this challenge is the online whiteboard. As you can see, there are a few benefits for using an online whiteboard. It encourages input from all team members, meaning everyone can feel heard and not disconnected. Unlike emails and chat, it allowed immediate feedback, so it speeds up the processes. It helps in understanding complex ideas and simplify connections between different concepts. And the ability of using images and videos, we will see it very soon, is much more engaging and productive. And of course, it can serve multiple departments for different purposes. What makes WorkCanvas unique? 3 main things. First of all, easy access. You don't need any extra tools. You don't need to navigate between 2 separate systems. You have everything in one place. Second of all, it syncs between board and items. And this is the most important point for WorkCanvas. Imagine that you have your projects and you have the items and you can work on that, convert it into a canvas, and the other way around. So every place that you work, it will be just sync automatically. And the third one is the cost efficiency. Consider to the alternatives, it offers an attractive price. So let's see how it works. Philip, stage is yours.
I'll start by sharing my screen so you can all see what's going on. All right, so when opening up WorkCanvas as an app, we are greeted with 3 main elements on our screen. On the left, we have an overview of our projects. These act like folders where we can group canvases together based on what they're about, for example. To the right, we have an overview of all our canvases that are saved in this webinar project, for example. And at the top, we are greeted with the opportunity to create new canvases. For the purpose of this demo, we're going to look at a process that we want to visualize, which is the absent request process for employees. And to visualize this process, we're going to create a new canvas. And when creating a new canvas, we are automatically greeted with an overview of popular templates that exist within the platform. I would strongly advise everyone to take a look at some of these templates, as they can be a very useful quick start when creating and visualizing a new process. For the sake of this demo, I'm going to start from the flowchart template. So we'll click on it and we'll import it into our current canvas. Voila. Having these basic elements here is good, but now let's start adapting and changing some of the elements in here. On the left side, we see the navigation bar where we are presented with all of the features that WorkCanvas has to offer. First, a very important one is the selector tool, which allows us to select ideas as an element here or other building blocks in the canvas. We can select items by clicking on them or select multiple ones by dragging across them. We're going to delete some of the elements here, as I think they won't be necessary for the process we have in mind. Voila, this seems better. Next to the selector tool, we have the move tool. The move tool allows us to navigate in our canvas. Right now it isn't very useful as we have a very small canvas, but imagine having multiple visualizations in our canvas, adding images and other stuff. It can get very big, and the move tool allows us to navigate in between them and make sure the right content is always at our disposal. All right, we have some basic building blocks. Let's also use the text tool we have available here to add a title to our canvas. I'll call it the absence request process. And using the pop-up toolbar that is being displayed here, we can alter different parameters of the element we are editing right now. For example, let's give it a beautiful color and let's change the size to a bigger one so it's very clear what this process is about. All right, great. We have some basic elements here that are not relevant to our absent request process. So let's change some of them to make it more applicable. So we start with a new request that comes in. If an employee requests a new absence, we have to assign a team lead, so an approval of the absence can be made. So after the team lead is assigned, we approve or decline the request. Once a request is approved, we take action, and this action for us means that we'll notify the employee that their request was approved. Great. This is a very basic visualization of our process. Now, of course, we want to make sure we capture all needs and all questions and things that come to mind when collaborating on this process. So therefore, we also have the possibility to add sticky notes to our canvas. Let's add a sticky note here because I'm not sure who is going to do this, when, etc. So using the sticky notes, we can add extra information to the different building blocks we have put on our canvas. Also right now, we only have a way of visualizing what will happen if the request is approved. There's no way we are now visualizing what happens if the request gets declined. Therefore, we have the shape feature, which allows us to add extra building blocks to the canvas. Let's use this feature to add a rectangle over here, displaying what will happen if the request is declined. Actually, I'm going to state here that we give some feedback to the employee about why it is declined. And also, let's use the toolbar to make it more appealing. We'll fill it with black and make the text white to make sure visibility is good. Let's also make the text a bit bigger. Sorry. Great. There's no connection right now in between these two elements, and therefore we can use the connector tool on the left, which allows us to connect different blocks together. If we double click, we can also add text to add some context to what the arrow means. All right, even better than before. Next to creating this process in WorkCanvas, we also created a board in Monday where we added some features that are very important to this process of requesting absence. And with the Monday integration with WorkCanvas, we can connect the board we created into this canvas. So let's do that real quick and import the items in this WorkCanvas. We'll use the absent request features board and import the items that are on there. Doing that, we get an overview of all the items that are listed on this board. You see, one of the features that is important is that we introduce approvals for the requests. Dragging these items onto the board creates a link between this canvas and the item in Monday. Let's also drag the automations notification over here. All right. Great. I'll close the sidebar to make sure we keep a good overview. All right. Let's use the connector tool again to indicate the link we are creating here between these items. And again, for the notifications that we plan to send. An added benefit of connecting these items in the Monday board is that we can visualize information from the items in the Monday board right into this WorkCanvas. Right now, we only see the status and the deadline of this feature, but using the pencil, we can add any column that we added in the Monday board. Let's, for example, add the owner here to make sure it is easily visualized in this overview. Great. Next up in the list here is the feature to add a mind map to the WorkCanvas. This allows us to easily add some ideas or different options that we like to discuss, as we all know in the known mind map visualization. Also, we have a pen tool available to make sure we can make some notes on specific items in a canvas. It's mainly for people who are good at drawing, which I clearly am not. So let's undo this draw and continue this way. We also have the possibility to add tasks to a canvas and make sure someone can follow up on them, as we also have the availability to assign people and assign tags to a certain task in this canvas. All right. Also important, we have a few elements here, but let's say I'm not sure who will assign a lead to this to each request. This is where the comment feature comes in handy, as it allows us to add some extra pieces of information to each element that is displayed. And also here, just like in the updates on a Monday item, we can tag people saying that we need information from them and making sure they get a notification of my comment. Voila. Martin will now get a notification and is able to reply to this comment right in this WorkCanvas. We can also add images to our WorkCanvas. This can be especially useful for people collaborating on new products, for example. And it allows us to add one or multiple items right in our canvas. Let's put it right over here. All right. Also, next to the tools on the left, you have a few very handy features at the bottom. First of all, we can export our WorkCanvas in an image file, making sure we can send it to other people or use it in other applications. You can also use voting as a way of, for example, in a brainstorm, vote with a team on certain ideas that are being proposed. We can add a timer so that we can keep track of time while collaborating. And to collaborate even better, there's also a video chat option available, which allows us to visually look at our colleagues while also working together on the workflow. Voilà, that are some of the basic features that are important. Let's get it back to Neta.
Thank you very much, Philip. We will move on to Martin, which will show us some real-life examples on how this can be used across different teams. So, Martin?
Yes, I will give it a try. So, my idea was to focus on a couple of example use cases that we've used within Thrive, and then end with one special case, which is relevant because it will start tomorrow, but it's a bit of a spoiler alert. So first of all, we've used it multiple times to do 360 feedback sessions. So during a 360 feedback session, everyone within the team will give everyone else both positive as well as working points on 12 different topics, such as learning, communication in, taking commitment, etc. So if I zoom into, for example, the view for the first colleague, you will see that these topics are here available. Everyone will be able to add post-its, sticky notes, as Philip has shown, to add feedback on the specific topics and share it with the colleague whose diagram this is. So this is colleague 1. So by using WorkCanvas, everyone would be able to share their input for every person in advance. So before we have the discussion, before we have the on-site one-to-one or physical meeting, and by using frames, as I've shown, we can quickly navigate through our WorkCanvas and show the information that is relevant at that point. So we can use those frames to basically set sort of a view window on top of our canvas to make navigating between multiple views more easy. So during the face-to-face meeting, we would, for example, discuss the feedback that is being given to colleague 2, which will allow him or her to ask for clarification if something's not clear. Another example where we've used WorkCanvas in the past is for retrospectives. So those are dedicated meetings where a team takes a break to reflect on a recent project or a period of time. It's not about blaming each other, but it's more about learning as a team and not necessarily as an individual. By discussing what went well or what didn't go well or what can be improved, the idea is to work more efficiently and keep continuously improving the team. Retrospectives can be held in hundreds of different formats, and I'm pretty sure and convinced, and I've tried it in the past, that WorkCanvas works perfectly for most of those. But most teams are used to doing those on a whiteboard on site. But as we are a team spread across multiple locations, we can't do all our retrospectives on site, and we do them remotely very often. So this means that not everyone has access to that physical whiteboard or that wall where we are sticking our post-its to. So that's why we've switched to WorkCanvas for these meetings. It not only allows us to take them digitally, but it also gives us digital documentation afterwards as a reference to look back at. So during those meetings, everyone would be able to create post-its, as you could see here, add a title, add some extra information, even assign a color or a person. And then at the end of the meeting, we can go over all of the items and the feedback that has been given and decide on what actions we want to take. And that's on this end. So if at a certain point we decide to take action on this item, for example, we can easily create a Monday item in our task board, so we don't forget to pick up and implement the actions we defined. And then a next use case would be to brainstorm on workflows, for example. So WorkCanvas has allowed us to map out workflows using arrows, shapes, connectors, all the things that Philip has already shown you. And it helped us create a clearer picture of how tasks or projects would flow across the company. Since it's an unrestricted layout and you can basically make it as big and as small as you want, it really helped us visualize complex workflows. This is a fairly easy one, including decision points, dependencies towards other teams and third parties, for example, and even parallel processes that run at the same time. So we've used it for both brainstorming at the start of a project, in which we focus on drawing and discussing the workflow that we're trying to map towards, for example, a Monday.com board, or basically any challenge within your work. At the end, we also use the outcome of the brainstorm as a starting point to build the actual Monday board, for example, and then keep the workflow up to date, such as we can see here, so it can be used as a documentation afterwards. So this workflow, for example, and don't worry, I'm not going to dive into the details of this. It's an example. This workflow is basically the documentation for our content publication board internally at Thrive. And it gives you an overview of how a content publication request, after filling the request, will continue. What steps will be taken, and especially who will take those steps, depending on what type of content is being requested. So this doesn't only help in mapping and building stuff within Monday.com or in any tool, basically. It also allows you to document what you've built and what you've thought of in the past. And it allows new people that haven't used a certain board or a certain workflow to instantly dive in and see what they can expect if they do a content publication request or any other workflow that you have within your company. So, and then a last example, it's something completely different, but I think it's quite relevant as it's around Euro 2024, the soccer tournament that will start tomorrow. As Tribe is located or working in 3 countries that are all participating in the championship, we're obviously following the championship and would love to cheer as much as possible. We're also looking forward to the moments where the teams would meet and play against each other. So at first it would rather be soon than late because the Netherlands and France are in the same group. So they will have a match, I think it's the second match that will play against each other. But since most of us are located in Belgium and the Netherlands, we're especially looking forward to the moment where Belgium would potentially meet the Netherlands. So we're actively keeping track of all the match progress to see when both countries would meet in the competition. And I've tried searching the web to find a way to visualize this in a diagram, and I found a couple, but I thought, why not create our own? So first of all, I started creating a Monday board with a list of all of the matches that are coming up, and I've displayed them here for each of the groups. So as you can see, the first match is, for example, Germany versus Scotland. And as Philip already shown, we can see details of those items by opening them up. Oh, and they jump below it. But as you can see, we have the score here. So this match is Hungary versus Switzerland. So let's imagine someone else, or the match is taking place, updates the score in the Monday board. Then it will also be reflected here in the item card as soon as that takes place, or at least that's what's supposed to happen. Just believe me, it will be updated at a later stage. So this allows us to keep track of what is happening within Monday and shows us the current state of those tasks, but it also allows us to visualize this information in a different way than we can within Monday itself. So as you can see lower, I've also drawn the lines between which winners of which group goes to which next match and so on, up until the big final. And if we're really lucky, we might end up with Netherlands versus Belgium in the final of Euro 2024. So we've used Monday.com boards to, first of all, follow up on the progress of the championship. And I know it's not really a business-related case, but it still shows how flexible Monday can be and the fact that it allows you to follow up on things that are not just workflows or projects like we're used to. But on the other hand, we can also use WorkCanvas to allow us to show the data that we have within Monday.com in a more visually appealing way. So it becomes more structured and more clear to annotate, for example, the paths that teams could take towards success. So both products clearly have their own use cases, but combining them really opens up a lot of extra possibilities. And I'm sure Tal will tell you a bit more on those success combinations.
Thank you, Martin. Very impressive workflow you've built here. Before moving on to Tal, Guy, welcome. Thank you very much for being here today. It's an honor to have you. We will let Tal to demonstrate a few more real-life examples, and then we will get back to you. We would really love to hear about WorkCanvas a little bit more, about the concept of WorkCanvas within Monday, how it's performed, and then we have a few questions also for you. So we'll get back to you in
Perfect. Looking forward. Thank you.
Tal, you can go ahead.
Thank you. Great. By the way, if anyone here has any questions, please feel free to post it under the question section. We'll address it after we finish demonstrating everything. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Cool. So are you guys able to see my screen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Amazing. So I'm going to start today. Before I jump into the actual examples, I just want to show you something very quick, kind of a few tips and tricks. So I'm inside my WorkCanvas environment as presented before. I'm going to just simply create a new canvas. And what I wanted to show you inside is that at the beginning, we've kind of seen how we can create a flowchart, right? And then by simply clicking on the icon, we can connect that flowchart into a Monday board. But what happens if you want to do actually something quite different? I'm going to scroll a bit down until I reach the synced templates. I'm going to choose just one of them, let's say the project's follow-up. And what it's going to do, it's going to actually create not only the sketch inside WorkCanvas, but it's also going to create the appropriate boards already for me inside my Monday account. So the relationship is already there. The items are already there. The only thing left for me to do is actually rename those items to whatever is my project tasks. So basically, this is kind of an example of how this is going to be created. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because we have a lot of different sections here. We have kind of a calendar view and a Gantt view. Let me zoom out until we can see everything properly. Cool. So if I scroll a bit to the left, we can see we have the project timeline. We already have these tasks associated with the relevant timeline. If I scroll a bit further, we can see we have a milestone tracker that shows us exactly where we're at and color coding our different milestones. And of course, we have a milestone calendar. Again, these tasks are already inside. If I zoom in a little bit, just for you to see that I actually have all of these different tasks. So I see that I now have like a project 7. I'm simply clicking on that for you to see that a board was actually created for me for that purpose. Once I clicked on it, I see this is now my board. These are the different projects I'm working on. Different columns were created already by the template, which I can, of course, change, edit, do anything I'd like with it. But basically, everything is already configured for me, including my valuable and important views. So this is one of the important parts I wanted you to see. One more cool thing I'd like to show you is how do you actually create content from the WorkCanvas into a Monday board? So let's take a sticky note, for example, right? We've discussed before that someone can put in a sticky note, whether it's for brainstorming ideas, but in some cases, like we've seen in the absent form process that we've created at the beginning of the session, sometimes we need to notify the person who created the request that they need to make some changes to their request for us to be able to approve it. So let's say that my request was actually to say, please change the dates for the request. Now, assuming that this is something I'm getting back as a feedback as the requester, what I want to do is actually click on that, right? Click on that thing. And I would like to create this as a task for me in my Monday board. So I'm simply going to click on create it. And as you can see, I can either create it as a new item in my to-do list, or I can even create it as a sub-items to any one of my current tasks. Once I click on create item, I then get a list of boards, and I can even select the dedicated group where I'd like to create this as a new item. I will say on top of that, that if I had multiple ones, like multiple sticky notes, I could do a bulk creation of tasks. So I don't need to do it one by one. I can simply select multiple sticky notes, right-click them, and create Monday item for all of them at the same time. One more thing, sorry, I'm really excited about all of these different things. I want to show you the card synced stack. So if I go into the section here, and I'm gonna click on Sync Stack. And I'm gonna just put it basically anywhere. Okay. And what I'd like to do in that is I would like to actually present information coming in from one of my boards. So let's say I'm working on a project, right? And I'd like to always visualize all the different projects or tasks that are stuck. Okay. So what I can do is I can simply select one of these boards. Okay. I get all the results, of course, but I can filter them and then present only the relevant information out of it. So I can either say, show me the high priority projects or show me only the ones that are upcoming, in progress, or completed. Based on that, as you can see, the view in my list changes. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit on that part so you'll be able to see the list of tasks that I'm getting here. Okay, so I have different projects, right? My project, Bravo, and Test. And I'm able to actually put that basically anywhere I'd like in my canvas. And this list is synced with my board. So whenever I put in a filter, the filter will actually specify whether it's on a status or on a priority, but it will automatically filter my list of items here. I hope that makes sense. And if you do have any questions on anything I just discussed, please feel free to raise it in the question section. Now, I would like to move to some examples. So let's say that when we talk about WorkCanvas, we've presented already project management, we've raised absent requests, which I associate with HR. We even saw how we can see the euro coming in. But what happens when we talk about other verticals, right? So I just wanted to show you some examples coming from completely different verticals to show you how flexible that is. So let's say that we are a manufacturing company and we are working on pieces of furniture. So let's say that I would like to maybe work on a new chair that I'm producing. So when we talk about brainstorming, we talk about ideas, but what happens when we actually want to visualize in depth every piece of step that happens in the produce of this chair, right? So I can have all of this laid out and specified here. And if I zoom in a little bit, you will see that I have posted with notes on every piece of them. So I can specify, for example, which will be the materials of the handle, which will be the fabric inside, which will be the materials of the legs, and which finish will they have. So here I can actually make sure that my team is collaborating well. And if I scroll a bit further, we can see that I have all the different team members and their ideas. And they can, of course, collaborate from here. And as I mentioned, by right-clicking those sticky notes, they can generate their own tasks inside Monday. Let's assume that we take that line where we actually need to produce a chair or a piece of other furniture. We need to make sure that we are on top of all the machines that take part in such producement. So if let me zoom out a little bit here. Let's see that we have different production lines. Okay, those production lines are made out of machines that are taking part in producing the furniture. So this might be a sanding machine or a gluing machine or a vacuum press, right? At every stage of the process, I can see the machine that is taking part and what is the status of it. Directly from here, I can specify whether something is malfunctioning, is not working properly, and by simply changing this to an error or a disconnection, or even maintenance required, this will then, because it's connected to an actual Monday board, this will then raise a request with the relevant team. So basically, directly from doing that, I'm raising a ticket with the relevant team that something is not working in my machine. That being said, this will also be reflected in all of my dashboards because this is no longer functioning. And that means that as someone who is now producing a piece of furniture or supposed to deliver something, I'm basically behind schedule and I'm losing money. So that information is very valuable. And for me to notice it immediately and opening a ticket by simply clicking here, that saves me a lot of time. Let's move out of a manufacturing section and say that we are a retail company. Okay, I want to show you very different verticals. So let's say that in a retail company, we talk about different products. Okay, we are a retail company, so we sell, this can be technological devices, this can be clothing, right? Let me again zoom out. So we can easily use the element of pictures as seen before to actually create our own catalog. So the catalog can be made out of electronics, right? It can be jewelry, it can be clothes. But as long as I have the possibility to control that, I get to define how do I frame that? How do I divide it? Of course, all the different pieces of information about stock, availability, etc., will be visible for me here as well. Let's take it a step forward, right? I'm now getting a new device to my store. I want to make a campaign for that, right? A new phone is coming in, a new device. The new iPhone is supposed to launch in a month, right? I want to create a buzz around that. I want everyone to know that I'm the store that will get this device first. So I can easily create a marketing awareness section that will then lead to a marketing campaign, whether it's media related or printed media. But for me to have the control over what goes into the highest priority actually makes the difference. And let's take it even in more advanced stages and think about how would I put that new product in my store? Where would I locate it? How do I manage the different sections in my store? So for this, we have a store layout option, right? So we have different stores worldwide, and they all have different sections and different floors. Let me scroll a bit further. So we can take an example, right? And we can see that the New Hampshire store, for example, or the New York store has a top section of accessories. They have a clothing and they have technology. And probably in this technology, this is where I would put the new iPhone that I'm about to launch. I can also make sure that all the different warehouses are getting the new device to their stock so they can spread it out across the different stores. And for this, I can also make sure the process goes as smoothly as possible by letting everyone in the warehouse team know exactly where to locate and find that new product. So I can specify exactly in which warehouse this is going to be, in which aisle and in which shelf they can find the new object. And the last thing I want to show you, and this is kind of moving outside of retail, and let's say that I'm a media company, right? I produce campaigns. I might be even producing TV shows, or I'm producing new movies. Okay, so let's think of a case where I'm a media company and I'd like to manage different scenes, different people, and the production calendar in my WorkCanvas. So as an example, let me scroll a bit up. You can see I can specify shooting location, where exactly I need my team to be, when they need to be there, which cameras should be there, which operators should be there, which shot am I exactly filming at that place, how long do they need to be there, how much budget do I need for this. So everything can be managed directly from the view of the canvas. And if I scroll a bit further, we can see we have a dedicated production days section. Let me move to the left a bit. So we can see exactly what do we need from all the different teams, when we need it, and what is the status of it as of now. And if I'm scrolling to the last part, we can see that we can also do some kind of promotion for that. That means we are now launching a new movie, or we are producing a new movie. We want to create again buzz and let everyone know that the new movie is about to launch. Then we're going to make sure that all the different marketing teams and all the different media out there actually knows about it, especially if we are intending to sell it to any streaming companies or theaters, to make sure that everyone is aligned on the screening day. I hope that was at least something that kind of made you think where more we can take WorkCanvas and what more you can do with it. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Tal. Beautiful examples. We have 10 minutes left, so I would like to give the stage to Guy. And we have a few questions in the Q&A, I can see. But maybe first you can give us a quick introduction about yourself, about WorkCanvas, how it operates, and
Sure.
how we know.
Great. So thank you so much. And Tal, this was amazing. I always love to see other people demoing WorkCanvas and see what other people are creating with it. So it's amazing. So my name is Guy. I'm based out of the Tel Aviv office. And we've been building WorkCanvas for the past 3 years. Time flies when you're having fun. And it's been quite a unique journey because we operate as a standalone whiteboard, which people access and download and use who are not Monday customers. And then we also have people who use Monday and benefit from an integrated whiteboard to where they actually work, which is Monday. I think that's our uniqueness. That's our secret sauce. And yeah, so far, amazing traction, thousands of customers, and really excited for what's ahead. The roadmap is packed with lots of amazing features, both I would say whiteboard related, and on the other hand, like more features that are going to make this integration more unique, like definitely doubling down on this integration with Monday with some really cool use cases and things that you will be able to do. So yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions about roadmap, about the current state of the product, about any specific questions, and maybe I'll start with the Q&A and then we can move forward. So
Yeah,
can I?
sure.
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
No, sure. I just wanted to present the first question.
Okay.
Someone is asking, how many canvases can I create? Sorry.
Yeah, so the limitation for the amount of canvases that you can create is only on the basic free plan, which is 3. Once you're in our paid packages, then you can have unlimited canvases on as many as you'd like.
Okay, and storage-wise, is there any limitations? Because we saw a lot of images and videos that can be added.
Yeah, so not that we know of, but I encourage you to push our limits.
Okay, good. Okay, someone is asking, can I make my own canvas private? So we're curious to hear like permissions. We know Monday offers a lot of permissions, so how does it work with WorkCanvas?
So this is a great question because it might be a bit confusing for some, especially for those who use Monday, because the names and terms are a bit different. Because as I mentioned beforehand, since we are a standalone whiteboard solution as well, like we also support people who don't use Monday, we had this decision of either going with the notion of how other digital whiteboard solutions are calling it or how Monday operates. And we went with the notion of how other digital whiteboards operate. Let me see if I can share my screen. There we go.
Interesting to know that it's also standalone product and it's not just for Monday.com users. I think this was one of the questions, so good to know.
Perfect. So here I'm inside of Canvas. Now, as a default, everything is restricted, okay? But the real accessing and finer grade of permissions is always defined by the team or project in which the canvas is in. So as a default, all the different canvases are being saved in the team's canvases section over here. So I'm connected to the Monday team. And in the team's canvases section, you can see my canvases and canvases created by other people at Monday. So it's important to say, again, as a default, the canvas that you can create, everyone in your team will be able to access. People from outside the organization, of course, are not going to be able to access. If I want to create the ability to only share... Can you guys see me still?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. So I had something switch here. If you want to create a project in which only you or a limited number of people can view the specific canvases, we have the notion of projects. So for example, I have Guy's project. This is a project that only I have access to, but it's really easy for me to invite people to join me in this project. So if I were to invite someone from my team, again, this is connected to the Monday.com user base. So it's really easy to add and find and remove people from my team. I can decide if they're going to have editing permissions or viewing permissions inside my project. So as long as the canvas is in a project that I have access to. No one else will be able to see the specific canvas that I created. I hope this makes sense. I'll just demonstrate this again. Like, let's say I want to take this canvas that's in the default team section. I can actually move this canvas. So I want to keep this in the Monday team and in guys project. And then I actually move the canvas to an area in which only I can see the canvas. So we can also move canvases between teams and projects. And of course, if we want a whole new scope, we can create more teams and then more projects in those teams. So lots of flexibilities in terms of who can access, and if they can access, if they can view or edit the specific canvas.
Okay. So with this in mind, can we share the canvas also with external people that do not have a license?
Perfect. Yeah. So this is a popular use case as well. So it's very easy to do so. Let's go into Guys Canvas. I don't even know what's in here. And basically the way to do so is the share button here in the top right. Okay, this is loading an org chart, so I'll take a different one. Let's do this one. All right, so we have the share button here in the upper right corner. Once I click on it, you see as a default, it's restricted to only people in my account. But if I decide to make this public, I can decide if anyone with the link can view or can edit the specific canvas. Once I make the decision, I copy the link and I send it to whoever I want. It could be someone external from my organization, but keep in mind, once we make this public, then this link is public, meaning anyone who gets access to this link will be able to access WorkCanvas, the specific canvas.
Okay, clear. Okay, and can we record a video calls that made with the integrated video conference tool?
So not yet, but I've definitely heard this a few times already. So it will be in our roadmap. So great question. Don't support it yet. Hopefully in the future.
Okay. Another question related to roadmap. Is there a feature on the roadmap to add Monday.com dashboard widget to WorkCanvas?
Oh, that's a great one. So definitely. As I said, it's always that split of standalone whiteboard features and the ones that are Monday integrated. I can say this is definitely a top feature requested by Monday users because they want to be able to first have the collaborative experience of viewing graphs and widgets together and collaborating on top of them. And also, you might be able to even create presentations in a more engaging way in WorkCanvas from these widgets in WorkCanvas. So definitely that's to come. Hopefully sooner rather than later.
Nice. And what about CRM? Would WorkCanvas can be integrated with the CRM?
Yes, correct. So we actually, in the sync templates, for example, we added a template that's, we call it account mapping, sales account mapping. So it's more sales oriented. Now we'll let it build it, but yeah, the goal here is to have like a sales-oriented template that you can then connect to Monday CRM. So in this case, we're doing an account mapping. Let's say we're selling to a company. We have all the information needed in this template with Monday items already inserted. So first, like we have the account overview. Okay, so we can see, how much revenue and industry. We can see the key contacts, and each one of these is actual like a Monday card from within WorkCanvas. From within Monday that we can change. You see, it's just mock data, contact name 1, contact name 2, and so on. And we have some other, things that are relevant at the account level. What's our goals? What are the challenges? We also have a way to map the account with org chart type features. So we can map like who's the champion, who's the executive buyer. We can build it out. So it's always combining this, structured and unstructured with Monday and really completing the picture in terms of, you have WorkCanvas for planning and presenting a project, and then Monday.com for actually executing the project end to end.
Okay, let's choose just the last question because we have 3 minutes left. let's say that I'm using another tool like Miro or Lucidchart. Can I migrate the data easily to WorkCanvas?
Cool. This is a great question because this was just released. So this is pretty new stuff. Let's demonstrate that. I will say we currently have something available for Miro, and hopefully in the near future we will have something for Lucid as well. But I have here like a few templates like that I've just randomly selected from Miro, and basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select what I want to copy. It's as simple as doing a copy, going to WorkCanvas. I'll go to a different area. Now I will paste it. And there you have it. It was all transferred.
Wow.
You can see that it's all dynamic. Okay, so it's working pretty neatly. Let's do another one. I'll take this flowchart, go to the canvas here as well, and paste it here. Okay, so pretty much migrating everything.
Amazing.
I will say this would really help with migration from Miro to Canvas, because when you think about it, like we have everything. We have consolidation, and we have the native integration with Monday, and we have, I think, a more attractive price, and we have this migration tool available. So this should really come in handy. I will say the migration tool doesn't work 100%. There are some things that will not transfer. Like, for example, we're still working on transferring images with this copy-paste type of mechanism, but still getting even 80% of it transferred with just a simple copy-paste should, do most of the heavy lifting and reduce the friction of, leaving that knowledge behind. I will say migration is always an opportunity to become more efficient, right? Like, there's always hundreds of boards that we don't really use. They're just there. We don't use it, not daily, not weekly, not monthly, sometimes not yearly even. It's a good way to say, okay, here are the ones we need, here are the ones we don't need. Let's migrate these and then start from scratch on all the others. So that's also worth mentioning.
This is very easy. Let's just wrap up with knowing a little bit about the costs. Is there a different cost for Monday users versus not Monday users? What we should take into account here?
Yeah, so we basically have two plans. We have the basic free plan that people, of course, can use. For Monday Enterprise, the cost is $15 US per user per month. And for Monday Pro, it's $11, okay, US per user per month. Yeah, I think these are very attractive prices, right, compared to Miro and Lucid. I don't know in the crowd who's using, has used, plan on using, but we come at very attractive prices. And I think that's it.
Yeah, I mentioned that also in the beginning. Great. Thank you very much for being with us today. And thank you for the rest of the speakers. And for all the participants, thank you for being here today. As I said, a recording will be shared, and you also get 14 days of free trial. So if you have any feedback, feature requests, improvements, please make sure to share them. And we wish you a nice day moving forward.
See you all.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.